Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 21st, and I'm Kenny Polcari, your host of the party, morning market commentary, everything you need to know. Now, this morning, you see, I'm no longer in Nantucket. I'm back in my office here in Boca Raton, Florida. That's Glades Road out there, lots of traffic. You're probably hearing lots of noise. I know there's some truck out there beeping its horn and doing whatever else. Anyway, one way or the other. So what do we have to talk about? Mamma mia. What a change from Monday to Tuesday, the change in investor psyche, the change in market action. We went from complete chaos and havoc on Monday to a celebration on Tuesday. So let's talk about what's important, right? What do you need to know? The Delta variant? Come on, don't be ridiculous. Investors came running back on Tuesday after being chased out on Monday. Earnings continue to smash the estimates, and Chipotle is this morning's darling after reporting last night. 10-year yields are now back at 1.24% after testing as low as 1.17. The VIX collapsed again and is lower this morning. Bitcoin broke 30,000 yesterday afternoon, but it didn't collapse yet. There is a big B event today at 12 p.m. featuring Elon Musk, Cathie Wood, and Jack Dorsey. More to come on that. What are we having for dinner tonight? We're having the rigatoni calabrese style. That's very important, and I'll explain it to you when we get there. Housing starts were up 6.2% yesterday morning versus the expected 1.2%, and boom! I guess all the hysteria and concern and angst created by the variant on Monday was nothing but a mistake. It was an overreaction. And it was all so short-lived. It didn't have any follow-through and what absolutely felt like one of those FOMO rallies all over again, right? I mean, come on. The negative tone on Monday, and I say the negative tone because the variant is what the media focused on. And that sent stocks reeling on Monday. But on Tuesday, it was nothing but a distant memory. And suddenly it wasn't even important anymore, leaving investors no choice but to come charging back into stocks, sending them up sharply, and what felt like everyone just backed up the truck the way I told them to on Tuesday morning. Now, in fact, what it did do was assure investors that Jay Powell was not going to do anything to upset the apple cart, right? There was so much concern over the variant. I mean, how could he even think of moving on tapering or rates when the variant was causing so much unease? At least that was the tone yesterday. That could easily change. Now, listen, you know how I feel. I thought the variant argument was just a convenient way to create havoc and chaos. That there are so many other concerns out there that are brewing below the surface that, in my opinion, are so much more of the story than this other, than the variant. And now there's another variant that hit the United States last night, right? The Lambda variant that came from Peru. Right. We've been expecting volatility. We've been expecting a pullback like so many others. And I'm sure that Monday's repricing was not the pullback I've been waiting for, right? Even hoping for. I mean, by the end of the day, on Monday, the S&P had given back only 3.5% from the high reached the week before. That's not even a pullback. It's indigestion. But again, with rates at zero and an accommodating Fed, it's always hard to see that the market can really pull back in any significant way at all, no matter how many issues there are out there, because everybody knows the Fed is going to come to the rescue. And back up the truck they did, right? Investors backed it right up. Beginning in Europe, buyers were scouring the landscape, looking for opportunities, sending stocks higher, causing the move in the U.S. to be just as exciting. Futures were up sharply in the morning in the hours before the opening bell, and only continued to go higher as the morning turned to afternoon. And by the end of the day, the Dow managed to claw back almost all of Monday's losses, while the S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, and transports gained all the losses and then some. As the closing bell rang, the Dow gained 550 points, or 1.6%. The S&Ps were up 65, 1.5%. The NASDAQ gained 234, up 1.5%. The Russell gained 64, up 3%. And the transports added 290 points, or 2%. Every sector was higher. Industrials, represented by the XLI, out in front, rising 2.8%. Basic materials, XHB, up 2.8%. Financials, XLF, up 2.4%. Consumer discretionary, XLP, up 1.8%. Energy, XLE, up 1.8%. The value play, up 1.6%, while the growth play was up 1.2%. Disruptive technology, represented by ARC, was up 3%. And the VIXY, which is that ETF that helps you hedge your position, sold off by 14% as the market gained, right? The 10-year Treasury, which collapsed on Monday, closing at 1.17, rallied sharply as money moved out of Treasury securities back into stocks, sending bond prices down and yields back up to end the day at 1.25%. All the talk of falling yields suggesting a faltering economy on Monday suddenly made no sense. Because if the economy was really faltering, more money would have gone into the bond market yesterday, and that did not happen. And they expect more money to come out today. Because markets are up, futures are up again this morning. So yields will go up again. The VIX, which fell 14% yesterday, is down another 5% this morning as the euphoria builds, right? European markets are all higher. U.S. futures are pointing up again. That's what happens when you have algos and technologies running the market. We get this very swift whipsaw action, which is why the long-term investor has to remain calm and does not need to overreact. Do not let the technology drive your investment plan at all. I said that to you the other day. I told you to back up the truck. I told you to eliminate the noise. Now, like I said, speaking of variants, there's a new one on the horizon, at least in the U.S. It's been around Peru and Europe. It's called the Lambda. And last night, Texas, some hospital in Texas has recorded its first case of this virus, of this variant, right? Like I said, it began in Peru, made its way all around South America. It's about now in Europe. It's been in Europe, and now it's here in the U.S. So expect to hear more about this, but maybe not just yet, because none of the media outlets have even mentioned it this morning, which goes to show you that it doesn't fit the narrative of today. You see, that's a negative headline, and the focus today is all on the positives. So they'll save that for another day when they've got to create more chaos and havoc, right? When they need a negative headline, they'll reach in and suddenly pull out this new variant. The focus today is going to be all about the ongoing amazing earnings reports, right? Last night, we had Signature Bank, you had Halliburton, you had Synchrony Financial, you had Philip Morris, Ally, HCA, and you had Chipotle, all beating the numbers on every line, up, down, and in between, right? So far this earnings season, we've got 90% of the companies that have beat on both the top and bottom lines, and that's well ahead of the average 75% that we see quarter in and quarter out. CMG reported after the bell last night that stock was quoted up 3% or $55 as their earnings, smashed. This morning we're looking for Anthem, Verizon, NASDAQ, Coca-Cola, CIT, Johnson & Johnson. All the expectations for another round of great reports, and Coke has already reported and they blew the roof off the house. That stock is also quoted up. There's no eco data today other than mortgage apps, but don't expect that to be a market mover at all, no matter what that number is. As I said, European markets are all higher, right? They're up by about 1.5%. The focus is once again on strong earnings. There's no mention of any Delta variant or Lambda variant at all to cause any havoc, right? So across the region, those markets are up 1.5%. Oil's trading back at $67.50 after testing lower, right? Overnight, it was reported that U.S. inventories had an unexpected build in supplies, and that's causing a little bit of pressure on stock, as many are using it as once again as a warning flag, suggesting that, this variant and the new variant is going to dampen demand. You keep thinking that. Do your thing. I think oil's going right back to the $70, $80 range because that's where they want it to be. Bitcoin, which finally broke 30,000 yesterday, ended the day at like 29,500, leaving many to think this is what we've been waiting for, right? Expecting it to move into the low 20s, myself included, and I still expect it to go there. And while it might happen, it's not happening right now. Bitcoin is back above 30,000 this morning as the market prepares for this big PR event today at 12 p.m. The B word is how it's being called, featuring Lonnie Musk, Cathie Wood, and Jack Dorsey, of all people, who are all going to expected to discuss how it's going to change the world, what the public perception of the crypto world in general is, and why it should be different. The B word website bills this event as focusing the initiative that aims to demystify and destigmatize the mainstream narrative. Let's see how successful they are and if they can get Bitcoin to rally versus collapse. In any event, like I said, the rotation continues. There's no reason to change your whole portfolio at all, and that is evident based on what happened between Monday and Tuesday and again today. Think about it. If you sold your stocks on Monday, you're sitting there kicking yourselves in the backside. So stick to the plan. Focus on the goal and eliminate the short-term noise. The S&P closed at 43.23 last night after bouncing off trendline support on Monday at 42.40. It remains very much in that trading channel of 42.40, 4,400. So anywhere in there is just normal. So don't get yourself overly worked up. You know what you're supposed to do? You can text the word invest to 21,000 to get my digital business card. Download it directly to your phone. It's got all my information on it. Feel free to email me, text me, call me. I'm happy to talk about the markets. I'm happy to talk about a plan. I'm happy to talk about concerns you have or you don't have. You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is just my name, at Kenny Polcari. And so that's simple. So what are we having for dinner tonight? This is always my favorite part, right? So we're having this rigatoni calabrese style. So now you say, well, okay, what is that? Okay, well, first you need supersata, right? Supersata is a Calabrian favorite. It's the key to this dish. But so what's Calabria? Where is Calabria? So let's visit Calabria, right? It's in southern Italy. It's in the toe of the boot. Calabria is connected to Monte Pollino Massif to the north and to the Ionian Tyrrhenian Seas on the east, south, and west coast. So what is the Monte Pollino Massif? Well, Monte means mountain. So they're the Pollino Mountains in the southern Apennine Mountain Range. A massif is the section of the earth that's marked by the faults and the flexures that represents the mass of the mountain. The capital of Calabria is Catanzaro, but the most popular region is Reggio, right? Reggio Calabria, that's all you hear people say. The region is a long and narrow peninsula that goes from north to south for about 160 miles, and it's about 70 miles wide. 90% of the region is kind of mountainous and hilly, while the other 9% is flat as it comes into the ocean. The climate is influenced by the land, right? It's colder up in the mountains, it's temperate kind of in the hilly middle region, and it's humid along the Tyrrhenian coast and much drier along the Ionian coast. Okay, now that you got that in your head, let's move on to the dish. For this, it's very simple. You need a handful of things. You need the supersata, you need the pasta, so you're going to use the rigatoni because it's a nice big pasta. That's what this dish calls for. But you can use any short pasta you like, but rigatoni is kind of like this big hearty pasta. You need garlic, you need olive oil, you need 2 cups of crushed tomatoes, you need chopped Italian parsley, and you need shredded provolone. Not parmigiani, you need shredded provolone. Now you want to start by bringing a pot of salted water to a rolling boil like you always do, just get it ready to go. Now, from the supersata, you know it's that hard salami, like you can buy it hot, you can buy it sweet. Take the skin off the supersata and then slice it very thin, right? Because you want to cook it up. You don't want chunks. You want it to be thin. Now, in a big saute pan, add the olive oil. Go around 2 or 3 times. Put the heat on medium. Add the garlic. Just smash the garlic. Don't chop it. Just take the side of the knife and smash it. Put it in the oil. Saute it around for 4 or 5 minutes until it's golden brown, and then remove it. Now, next you want to turn the heat to low. You want to add all the sliced supersata. You want to cook that for 5 or 6 minutes, and you want it to be a lot because you want it to be mixed with the pasta. Now you want to add the tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes. You want to season it with salt and pepper. You want to stir it to mix, and then you want to add the chopped parsley. But you really want to add the chopped parsley more towards the end. But one way to get that ready. In the meantime, you want to just bring it up to raise the heat, bring it up to a boil, and then turn it down to simmer. Now put your pasta in the water. Cook the pasta for 8 minutes. Taste it. Make sure you want it al dente. You don't want it mushy. When you go to strain the pasta, take a big slotted spoon. Take the pasta right out of the water from the pot and put it directly into the saute pan that's got the supersata and the tomatoes. Take all the pasta out. Put it right into that big saute pan. Mix it up so that it's all nice and coated. Now, if the pasta soaks up the tomatoes, you know what to do. Take a mug full of water, take a little bit at a time, just add a little bit of the pasta water to the sauce just to bring it moist. Don't make it soupy. You want it just to be moist, right? Mix it up. Now, here's the key. While the pasta is still hot, you want to take the shredded provolone and you want to put the provolone all over the pasta and then mix that. And what happens is the heat from the pasta is going to melt the provolone, so it's going to almost get a little bit creamy. Now listen, I like provolone, so I put a lot. You're going to ask me, how much should I put? I put 2 handfuls, and then I add more when I'm at the table. I'll even add a little bit more, but try it. Put 1 handful, mix it, see what you think. Is it enough? Is it not enough? You can always, if you put too much, you can't take it back. So start by putting less, and you can always add more. One way or the other, put the provolone on, mix it up so that it gets all nice and melty, and then serve this immediately. This is a great dish to have with a light red wine, almost like maybe a Pinot Noir or a Chianti. Don't have something heavy because it doesn't really work for this dish. And remember, this is a real Southern peasant dish. You're not going to find this dish in your favorite Italian restaurant. They won't make it, God forbid, because it's like a peasant Southern dish. But it's different but it's really good. Once you make it, you're good. And like I said, you can make it with the spicy super asada, you can make it with the sweet. I always use the sweet, just because I'm allergic to real hot, right? So I'll use sweet. But it's delicious in any event. But you're not going to find it in your favorite Italian restaurant. It's like going to, it's like going to Nana's house. You're just going to go in there and it's like good home cook eating. Anyway, try it. Let me know what you think. Serve it. You can serve it for guests. You can serve it just for your family. Make it for yourself. It's simple to make and it stays overnight. You can certainly eat it the next day. Pop it in the microwave and have some fresh shredded provolone to put on it. It's really good. One way or the other, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this. The day's about to get started. The market's about to open. Take good care and I'll see you in the morning.